Khamzat Chimaev's big test will arrive in the form of a matchup with former title challenger Gilbert Burns. According to UFC president Dana White, White first told TSN the welterweight bout was in the works for UFC 273, then later told The Underground that it's happening at the April 9th pay-per-view event in Jacksonville, Florida. The fight initially had been reported by Brazilian news outlet Combate earlier this month, but MMA Junkie learned at the time that a potential hang-up would be visa approval for Chimaev to travel to and compete in the US. Given White's words Monday, it appears that hurdle has been cleared. Burns, who is number 3 in the latest USA Today Sports MMA Junkie welterweight rankings, will attempt to shut down the hype around Chimaev and insert himself back into the championship picture. He unsuccessfully challenged Kamaru Usman for the title in February 2020, but bounced back last July with a unanimous decision win over Stephen Thompson. The 35-year-old will try to make it 2 consecutive wins as he pursues a rematch with the champ. Chimaev, an honorable mention in the latest rankings, will fight to prove he's truly the next big thing. Chimaev has burst onto the scene in the UFC, destroying all of his opponents by stoppage in lopsided fashion and absorbing just one, yes that's right, one significant strike in 4 total octagon appearances. The 27-year-old has been clamoring for a top name at 170 pounds, and now he'll get the sternest of tests in Burns. UFC champ Alexander Volkanovski has a bold prediction for Khamzat Chimaev's upcoming fight against Gilbert Burns. Although the odds have Chimaev as a big favorite, reigning featherweight title holder Volkanovski, who puts his belt on the line against Chang Sung-Jun in UFC 273 main event, thinks Boers will not only win, but he'll make it look easy.
Obviously he's got a lot of hype, so people that don't really know the sport are expecting him to win. But people that really do know the sport are probably, oh yeah, Burns on the ground, world champion, they'll be surprised if Chimaev goes out there and just mauls him, and I feel like that's what's going to happen. I feel like that is where Chimaev is at right now. I think he's actually going to go out there and show a dominant performance, which is going to be pretty incredible against someone like Burns. So if he goes out there and does that, I think he's a real deal, but that will really make everyone be like, oh damn, this guy's a real deal. So that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting Chimaev to go out there and dominate. And it's not no easy task, but I'm just saying that's how good I think Chimaev is.
According to Topico, unbeaten Chimaev is a whopping -475 favorite over the much more experienced Burns, who is a +320 underdog. Should Chimaev emerge victoriously, he's expected to face the winner of the welterweight champion, Kamaru Usman, and Leon Edwards, which is targeted for July. Let's listen to what other UFC fighters have to say about this amazing fight.
Asma, he hasn't shown any difficulty in being able to get the takedowns that he wants. So I think he gets the takedown, and I think he grounds and pounds him out like early in the first or second round.
Man, it's a very interesting fight. Obviously, it's going to be the perfect test to see if Chimaev is the really ready to step up in that competition and everything. I'm going to go towards Burns. I think Chimaev brings some dangerous things, but Burns does too. And I think, his grappling will offset the wrestling.
I'm going to say Chimaev. We haven't seen him fight anyone as good as Burns, and I think Burns is actually the toughest matchup for him in the division. Just because he's so active off his back. He has really good jiu-jitsu. But I just think people are really underrating Chimaev's striking because he hasn't shown it as much. But if you go back and watch that Mearshart fight, he's got clean striking, and he was able to put Mearshart down pretty quick. I'm going to pick Chimaev by finish. I think he keeps the streak going, too, of just absolutely outclassing people.
Ooh, man. My ego wants to be like, Khamzat, he's not gonna win, but man, he's coming into his own, right? Like he's definitely hitting stride, but Gilbert's battle tested as well. That'll be a tough one, but I think Khamzat's gonna get that one.
The way that Chimaev wrestled Jack the Joker was insane. So it really shows how good and strong he is. It's actually crazy. But Gilbert Burns is a wicked submission guy. So you got to be careful there in the stand-up. I'm going to lean towards Gilbert Burns. I think Burns might be... Usman's the best guy in the division. He proved it, but I don't know. I think Gilbert's right up there, man. I'm not I know Khamzat's really good, but I'm not 100% sold that he's the best guy in the world yet. And I think Gilbert Burns is pretty damn close to that. So I'll go with Gilbert Burns.
MMA Community reacts to Masvidal's arrest. The rivalry between Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington didn't end at UFC 272. On Monday night, Masvidal allegedly attacked Covington outside of a Miami restaurant in an altercation that left Covington with a fractured tooth, and Masvidal facing possible felony battery charges, according to Miami Beach police. Covington, who defeated Masvidal via unanimous decision at 272, told police that he heard Masvidal say, "You shouldn't have been talking about my kids," during the alleged attack.
It's personal, but it just sucks because this idiot talked about my kids, you know? He's still somebody, if I see him out in the streets, I'm gonna give him everything I got to break his fucking jaw, you know? It doesn't matter if I lost wrestling scrambles tonight. I still think he's a
Not surprisingly, the alleged incident has had the MMA world talking since the news first broke late Monday night. Check out how UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman and many other members of the MMA community reacted to the situation below. Masvidal wrote this on Twitter after the assault. "Good morning to everyone, except those that think talking about someone's kids is cool." UFC welterweight champ Kamaru Usman said this, "This is not how we conduct ourselves in this house." Jake Paul took advantage of the situation and wrote on his Twitter account, 2 facts of the day. Number 1, Masvidal is a bitch for ambushing Colby. Couldn't hurt him in the cage, so try to blindside him, ? Number 2, UFC always says it's increased fighter pay 600% since 2005. Per Huddle Up, UFC revenue is up 1,700% since 2005, and profits are up by 6,200%, 10 times the fighter pay. Former UFC champion Daniel Cormier thinks that the rivalry may have gone too far. He also questioned whether Covington needs to have someone around to keep him in check.
Colby Covington is not a street guy. Like, I will tell you today, Colby Covington is not a street guy. Colby Covington is a guy that likes to talk and fight. The shtick may have crossed the line, and now it's gotten him into a situation that he is not really equipped for. That is why, Ryan, he didn't have anybody in place with him to make sure that it didn't cross the line.
Right.
But because I know who I am, I always made sure somebody was in there, in that place with me to make sure that I didn't cross the line, to ensure my safety and protect everything that I was building. Same thing with you. Understanding where you're from, knowing that if things go sideways, this is a dude that I know will go and do what he has to do.
Absolutely.
So you gotta have somebody you trust to make sure that you don't go and lose everything that you've worked so hard for. Colby's not that guy. Colby's not a guy that is looking to be dealing in street things. He may talk like it. When he says he's the king of Miami, he's talking about he's the best fighter for Miami. And it's hard to argue that right now, considering Usman's training in Colorado.
So what do you think of Masvidal sucker punching Colby outside of a restaurant? Did he go too far? Or did Colby have it coming when he talked about Jorge's kids? Drop your opinion in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.